I want to talk with you guys about the importance of equipping. That's really what these short talks are all about, is being equipped. And this idea of being equipped is very important to us. When I had, my kids are all grown, but when they were younger, I would not have wanted to leave them with a babysitter who I didn't feel was well equipped for the job. And we look all around us, and everyone that has jobs and careers, teachers, educators, they're equipped to do their job, and we count on them to do a good job because they're equipped to do that. And if they weren't equipped, we wouldn't send our kids to that school. Policemen, firemen, our accountants, if we're getting our taxes done, if you think about all aspects of life, we go to specialists or experts that are equipped to do the job right. And you and I want to feel equipped in the things that we're doing as well. So if you're given a job or a role, or someone's expecting you to get something done, you want to feel like you're equipped for that. And so when God commissioned us, when Jesus said to go and make disciples, he's talking to the whole church, and he's saying that the church needs to be built up individually and corporately. And so there needs to be an equipping process that happens. And so I want to read for you a passage and talk a little bit more about what that means for us as we believers become equipped to do the ministry. It says in Ephesians chapter 4, verse 11 and 12, it was he, Jesus, who gave some to be apostles, some to be prophets, some to be evangelists, and some to be pastors and teachers, to prepare God's people for works of service, so that the body of Christ may be built up, or to be equipped. So this is the plan that is laid out. Paul records this for us. In fact, he's in prison right now. He's been set aside, and he's writing from prison, and he's thinking what would be helpful for him to teach the church on. He's like, listen, it's so important that believers get equipped to be able to do the ministry. And he makes it real clear who the ones are that are to do the ministry, and it's the members that do the ministry. And in a lot of churches, they get that backwards. The members kind of sit and watch the pastors, and the ones being paid, the professionals, do the ministry. And that's completely wrong. And what this passage says is that the pastor, the pastors, teachers, evangelists, prophet, apostle, those people specially gifted in those areas are to work to equip all of the members. It's kind of like, I like to use a sports analogy. I had a chance one time to be a chauffeur for the NFL when the Super Bowl was in town. I remember one time driving a player to a back alley, dropped him off so he could kind of sneak into this luncheon and avoid the public. And while I'm in that back alley waiting for him to come out for lunch, I see a couple more Suburbans pull in, like just coming in super aggressive. And I'm like, okay, who's this gonna be? This is gonna be somebody important. Doors open, guys with earpieces on. They're obviously security, looking around, scanning everything. And then out steps Roger Goodell, the commissioner of the NFL. And so I'm like, oh, this is a cool experience. Well, Roger Goodell, his role or responsibility for the NFL is at a very high level. He's not a player, right? But below him, you're going to have team management, you're going to have coaches, assistant coaches, and then finally get to the players and the fans. Well, here's where a lot of churches get it wrong. A lot of churches think that the members of the church are up in the stands watching, but that's not true. What we just read here is that the members of the church are actually the ones on the field playing, and I think that's probably good news to you. That's what I want to hear. I want to be in the action. I want to play. And so it's the job of me as a pastor and as an elder to be teaching and equipping the members of my church, as well as those who have been elevated to that position. So there's a position of responsibility and teaching at every church. Usually it's the elders and pastors, directors, and the ones that are in key positions in the church that are primarily there to equip the members for the ministry. So the board of the church is really like the commissioner of the NFL. The board at a very high level establishes the rules of the game. Here's how to play the game, the policies, the budget, the big picture type stuff. And then as long as the coaches are working within that, and the coaches are like the pastor, and the head coach is like the senior pastor or the lead pastor, and he's calling the plays and setting the strategy, and the coaching team is working together to prepare the team to go out and to win the game. And so that's what equipping the saints for ministry is. The Bible calls all believers saints, not just special believers, but all believers are members of the body of Christ. All believers are saints. All believers are then to be equipped and to feel equipped, and that's the job of the ministers, the pastors of the church, to equip them so that they're ready to go out and to do the ministry. So it's time for you to be equipped, if you're not, and to go do the ministry.